My husband wanted my sister as his hall pass, so I chose his perfect brother for mine. My husband always said he'd do anything to save our marriage, but I never imagined anything included my younger sister. We'd been struggling for months, and every fight felt like another crack in our foundation, while Spencer scrolled through Instagram, sighing at posts of his single friends living it up. I thought having my sister Daphne over for Sunday dinners might help ease the tension, but she'd been openly poly for years, which suddenly brought Spencer alive in a way I hadn't seen since our wedding day. He'd lean forward and pepper her with questions like a man who'd just discovered water in the desert. That should have been my warning. The Tuesday Spencer decided to blow up our marriage. We were sharing pad thai at our usual spot, and he dropped it on me like it was nothing. I think we need to spice things up and open our marriage just temporarily. I nearly choked on my spring roll, watching him lean forward with that earnest look he got when selling me on something stupid. 4 years together and his solution was letting him sleep around. He launched into his pitch about marrying too young and missing out on experiences. By experiences, he meant other women. But the real kicker came when he immediately told me he'd already thought of the perfect person, my sister, the same one who'd been lighting him up with her poly stories every Sunday dinner. I actually laughed, waiting for the punchline, but his face stayed deadly serious as he explained how it was about comfort and trust, not desire. My stomach turned as I realized he'd been thinking about screwing my little sister long enough to build an entire justification for it. I shut him down so fast. The manipulation started immediately with stories about his co-worker's supposedly stronger marriage after opening it, then questions about whether I even wanted us to work. Within days, he was whining about only sleeping with 3 women and asking if I wanted him to resent me forever. He actually packed a duffel bag and announced he'd stay at a friend's until I decided. Then came the text. Good news. Talked to Daphne, and she's totally on board with helping us save our marriage. She said she's honored we'd trust her with something so important. My blood went cold. He'd already asked her and framed it as both of us wanting this, as us choosing her together to help save our failing marriage. I was done. Ready to text back that I wanted a divorce, ready to burn it all down right there. But then I thought about him getting what he wanted, and that's when a better idea hit me. I called his brother Connor and told him everything about Spencer's obsession with Daphne, the ultimatum, how he'd already asked her behind my back. Connor was the older brother Spencer had spent his whole life envying, the one with the law degree, the penthouse, and the life their parents couldn't stop bragging about at every family dinner. Want to help me teach Spencer a lesson? I asked. Connor laughed for a full minute before saying he'd been waiting years for a chance to show Spencer that two could play his games. When Spencer came home, I was ready. I said, fine, let's do it. And his whole face lit up like Christmas morning as he eagerly confirmed I was really okay with Daphne. That's when I dropped my condition. If he got a hall pass, so did I. He nodded without hesitation, probably thinking sweet, naive me who'd only slept with one person would never actually use mine. Then I said, good, I choose Connor. The silence that followed could have choked someone. Spencer sputtered that Connor was his brother, that I couldn't possibly, but I just smiled and reminded him of his rules. Watching him realize he couldn't argue without admitting his own requirements were bullshit was pure poetry. The next week became a masterclass in karma. Spencer cycled through anger, bargaining, and threats to call it off, but he'd already promised Daphne it was happening, and his pride wouldn't let him back down. Every mention of Connor made him twitch. Every text notification sent him scrambling for my phone. By Friday, when I announced our date night, he couldn't speak. I took my time getting ready, curling my hair and spritzing perfume while Spencer watched from our bed like I was loading a weapon. Connor showed up at 8 looking like everything Spencer wished he was, and we spent 3 hours at a wine bar laughing until my sides hurt. Nothing happened but conversation, though I made sure to tousle my hair and steal a spray of his cologne before he dropped me off. Spencer was waiting when I walked in. I pulled the divorce papers from the junk drawer and spread them across the coffee table. You were right, I said. This hall pass idea was perfect. It made me realize exactly what I want. His face crumbled as he understood I didn't want Connor for a night. I wanted freedom from him forever. The funniest part, he never used his hall pass. Once word got out about our divorce, Daphne called me laughing so hard she could barely speak. I never liked that creep, she gasped. I only agreed to string him along because I knew how much it was killing you. Figured if he was busy fantasizing about me, at least he wouldn't be out there actually cheating and hurting you even more. Who tries to screw their wife's sister? What a weirdo. We laughed until we cried, and I realized my sister had been protecting me all along. 4 months later, the divorce was final, and Spencer still begs his mother for answers about whether Connor and I ever slept together, torturing himself with possibilities that eat him alive. He wanted his cake and to eat it too. Now he gets to watch his brother lick the frosting.